He's Rick Tyler.
And he's Dan Cashman.
And I'm Matt Scott from Days World, and I'm on the Rick and Dan Show.
In Maine, we often hear,
"You can't get there from here."
These are the stories of the risk takers.
The trailblazers.
Those who turn obstacles into opportunities
every day and found their way
to get there from here.
And today,
they're on the Rick and Dan Show.
Our selection is limited.
This will
We
be the
have
first one.
Bud Light, Miller Lite, and one tubular.
The tubular will grease the wheels.
would you be available to bring one of the tubular beers into the podcast studio for Matt Scott, please? Question mark.
And a Miller Lite from the basement for Dan, please.
Did you hear when I came in, Paul goes, "Matt, do you want me to get you a beer?" Because the only way that I could do commercials back in the day was if they got me drunk. It's the only way I could do it. So I was stumbling, and Bob was like, "Wait a minute, he's way better at this with alcohol." So we ran across the store and got a 6-pack, and I pounded 2 beers, and I came back and nailed it. So every time that Paul would come, they would bring a 6-pack. So
Love it.
Yeah, so I was able to do.
Do we want this whole beer thing on this podcast?
Yeah, it's not like Rogan where we're eating mushrooms and smoking doobies and stuff, right?
Do they do mushrooms and doobies on Joe Rogan's show?
They did when he would get together with all the boys, his friends. Yes.
Was it a sponsor kind of a thing?
No, they just were. It leaked out that they had just ate a bag of mushrooms, and then they got on a little bit for it.
We're only allowed to use the sponsored mushrooms.
Got it right.
What is a brand of mushrooms anyway?
Shroomzastic. I just made that up. No idea. You'd have to ask someone in Colorado.
Shiitake, that's a mushroom, isn't it?
Well, maybe that's a new sponsorship avenue for the Rick and Dan Show. We can get some shrooms companies.
Shroom companies? I got to get some paper now because I get to mark down every time someone cusses because I've got to bleep it out.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Stop, see? Now I got to go back again. Oh, my word.
Can you bleep it out?
Yeah, well, that's what I'll have to do.
Oh, then
But I got to do it all manually.
Why do we have to? This is not governed by
none of the other
FCC broadcast rules.
Because you have to mark if it's explicit.
So make it explicit.
Oh yeah, make it explicit.
Make this one our first
it's
blue
gonna-
episode.
Oh yeah.
Do you want it?
Matt Scott goes blue.
Yeah.
Goes?
No.
Don't you mean gone?
I'm not red or blue.
No, blue comedy.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
the,
good, good.
yeah, it's
Phew.
the.
I thought you were like calling me a Democrat or something.
And I'm
No,
also-
it's the blue comedy, which means you're a little bit like the second show is blue.
Second show,
is the
blue,
common.
don't bring the kids.
Yeah,
So the waiters and the waitresses, they make the real magic.
Case side quest. I'm
Cuss
not a
words
Republican
fly.
or a Democrat. Okay.
All right. Oh, look, here's the most important.
Hey, it's tubular.
Some people have poly girls.
Paul-
We have Paul.
Paul back in the day was like, "Hey Matt, do you need a beer to talk?" I'm like, I grew up a
Thanks,
little bit, Paul. I can do it without alcohol now, but this helps. Cheers.
Oh, cheers to you.
By the way, open one for yourself.
Yes.
Welcome. Oh, cheers, everybody.
And when you cheers, you have to make eye contact.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you have to.
You know, Alex Gray was here. We were drinking just plain water. This is much different.
Sorry.
Miller Lite's not far off.
Did I just pop the cherry on drinking on these podcasts?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
Am I allowed to even say that, Rick?
Yeah.
A second, I'm just marking down 3.
It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want. I don't know why
I mean, you guys
Mr.
should-
Straightlace over here
Yeah.
beside me has to bleep things out.
How many times have you been to see the band Fish?
Just under 200 times.
God.
Ish. So there's this thing called Fish Fantasy Tour where you can go in and actually like follow it back. I'm too busy going to the shows. It's just right around there. I've been to 70 in the last 3 years.
Wow.
Ish, because I had kids in between that beginning part of it, and then
I'm going to jump right to the question because I don't think I've ever asked you this.
Yeah.
Do your kids have an affinity for the band Fish as much as you have an affinity for the band Fish?
no, that's impossible. But
I
but
understand
I
that,
do
but-
have a funny story about them and Fish though, because I'll answer it this way: their first concert was Fish in Mexico in 2018.
How old were they?
Gracie was 11 and Lainey was 9. That was their first show, like concert ever. And then their second one was Tab, which is Trey Anastasio Band. Then their third one was Fish. And then their fourth one is Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Wow.
That seems like a
Makes sense, right?
it seems like a good trifecta
It does
of
to the
first 3
person not
bands
paying
over.
for the tickets.
They were 11 and 9 when they got to go to their first Fish or Fish-like concert.
Right.
How old were you when you went?
17, the great went up there
Up
in
Loring.
Limestone. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say Limestone. No, Limestone. I was 17. Calm down.
The statute of limitations
Right.
is way up. on
Right,
that.
right.
How much of that show do you remember?
Quite a bit of it. It changed my life. Literally just changed my life.
How so?
Real quickly, the kids. I want to finish that one real quick because the great went is a long story. But Gracie, I remember we started her skiing, both kids when they were really little. And I remember always going to Sugarloaf back and forth in the car. And all we listened to was Fish, my wife and I. My wife Kim at the time. And that's all they knew, the kids. That's all they knew. I was stuck in I wouldn't say a fish loop. It was more like go to Days World, work all day, kids, and this, like it was simple for me. It was easy, like, because Fish has never played the same song twice, right? So you can listen to like Bathtub Gin from 1994 and it's been different 2,000 times since. So you can just play with it, it's easy. Just turn on livefish.com, or the app. But so the kids were that's all they listened to. And I remember turning the truck on one day and Gracie May in the back and her sister, I think Gracie was like maybe 5 and Lainey was 3, and the radio came on instead of that, just my regular, recorded or downloaded music. And she was like, Dad, what is that? And I was like, what is what? And she's like, what is that? Like, what's that noise? And I was like, music. And she was like, Fish? And I was like, no, music. Like, she's like, Fish. And I'm like, how do you tell a 5-year-old that there's other things out there, And I remember my wife and I joking, like, maybe we should listen to the Rick Tyler show or something. No, just kidding.
No, don't do that.
Because anything other than she didn't know what radio was.
That's fascinating. I remember with my kids, I had like a curated playlist because I didn't want to have my mornings be Wheels on the Bus and things like that.
Oh,
so I put together things like Stevie Wonder, Huey Lewis and the News, family friendly stuff that had like good horn lines, good.
Why don't we
funky
do it the
rhythms.
road Beatles?
No, I didn't have that one on there, but it would have been a good option. But but I was so proud. One day on the radio, something came on. It was a song it was a Miley Cyrus song. And my daughter was young enough that she started crying. And I was like, oh, is it the music? And I flipped on Stevie Wonder and she stopped. And I was like,
wow.
yes, I've done something right
done
as a parent.
something right.
At least one thing.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you brought them up on Fish.
Yeah. And then they went to the Sphere with me, which blew our minds.
Wow.
Yeah. That was like over the top. That was their 5th show that they'd ever been to.
They are going to put you in the nicest nursing home someday.
They're both going to be nurses. So, yeah.
How old are they now?
Almost 20 and 18.
So they know, like,
17,
nurses
19.
is their career path.
Yeah. Lainey's already accepted at UMO. She's a senior this year. Gracie ended up with a full boat.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I told her that I wouldn't pay for anything.
Congratulations.
When she went from 8th grade into freshman year, I'm like, listen, kid, when you're 18, I'm doing okay, but I'm not giving you like you are going to have to work your way through college. You're going to have to pay for it. They were Rick's writing down.
Stop. You see, you just said it again. No, we got
Shucks.
850.
Shuckity shucks.
I want the record to show for my parents that I have not yet cussed.
Yes.
Ever?
I know. I'm like
Ever?
Well, now that I don't know. Now that I'm not a business owner, I guess, or I kind of live a little bit more freely, and I'm a little bit less careful, I guess, of what people see, hear, or think. But that's a whole other subject there. But
That's the next time you're in our studio.
Yeah.
But the full boat. She got the full boat.
Yeah.
So I told her between 8 and I said, look, you have to claw and scratch your way to the top. I was like, if I help you, I think it'll disable you, and you're going to have to do it the way that I did it, which was just grit and passion and, a burning desire, as I would say Napoleon Hill would say, because that was the first book I ever really read was Think and Grow Rich, which is a whole other conversation, right? But so I told Gracie, like, look, you're on your own, kid. Like, I'll be your safety net, which Fish calls the unbreakable net. But I'll be your safety net, but you're going to have to struggle.
How did she take that? And you had that conversation in
She
8th grade
basically
with
was
her?
like, yeah.
How did she take
Between
that?
8th grade and freshman year with both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Lainey's, they're best friends, so they're like always together. And I made sure that when we put on an addition on the house, that their rooms were connected. And I made them share a room for their first 8 years or so of their life. So they were really close. But I told Gracie, like, you're on your own. And she basically was like, hold my beer. And went in and took the hardest class. She signed up for every single extracurricular. She did sports. She did all of it. Glee Club and just all the clubs and Kiwanis and just did all of it. And I think you can apply for, 24 scholarships, or something like that from Dexter. And she got 22, I think. Wow. Right around there out of 24. So when they brought her up, so we have no idea, but this little scrapper, she went and visited all these colleges on her own without her mother or I even knowing. She toured them by herself. Right? She didn't tell me anything. And then she applied for all these scholarships while her mother or I knowing. And then she goes out so she's graduating high school. I know she's going to UMO. She was accepted. And that's about all the information that she really gives me because she's so independent. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in Dexter Regional High School's pit and that's old language. It's all right. The gym.
Want me to bleep that out too?
Sure. Sorry, Steve Bell. He works he runs the waterfront concerts too, so I gotta be careful here. He's the principal. So when they called her up, it was like, Gracie's going to UMO for nursing, and her following scholarships are boom, 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 boom. And I was like,
Wow.
what? Everybody's like looking at each other like, what the hell? I think she got paid $6,000 this last like semester, like extra.
Wow.
Which I didn't know it could happen.
Yeah.
Like she just,
what did she do with that
kid
money?
crushed
Did she
it.
use it for like housing or books or?
she bought weed with it. Yeah. No, just kidding. She's never. She's. Do you have to bleep that out?
Oh
right?
no.
Okay,
no.
good.
For some reason, that's fine.
Yeah. For some reason, that's okay. No, she started. No, she got an apartment.
Yeah.
She wanted to get out of the dorms with it. And the reason I can joke about that, because we've talked about everything. She's like my little best friend, and we've had a conversation about all the things that parents are afraid of or whatever. But we just hit them head on.
How old was she when you had that conversation?
She
all
would
the things that
she would have
parents are
been
afraid of.
between 13 and 14.
So it was part of the conversation.
Well,
about
no,
okay.
that happened after I found out she had a boyfriend that like stole a car and broke into our house.
Oh, yeah.
That's when that happened.
Yeah.
But other than that, she's been a perfect kid. Other than letting this kid steal a car when he was 15 and drive it to the house, that's when the real conversation started.
Okay.
Let him steal a car.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes because my kids are a little bit younger than
Yeah.
that. So
I'm taking notes
all
because I
parents
never
out
got
there.
this conversation from my parents, and after we're done, I'd like you to give me the conversation.
Yeah.
61, but I think I
Yeah.
could still learn something.
Yeah. Oh, this taught me a lot. This one I actually was, I got the information about what had happened, and I was walking into the Millows. I had my Southern teams down there, Wyndham and Scarborough teams that were gathering on the boat to just have a get together. And
Did you have fish?
yeah, I was going to.
No, come on, laugh with me, Rick.
I mean,
Come on.
Kidding me? I'm bleeping,
Come on.
I'm bleeping that
We're
out.
supposed to be a team.
He's bleeping it out. 13.30.
What's the over under on this?
So like I had just found out what would happen, and she called me up and she was like, hey, she's like, Dad, I did something bad, right? And I'm like, what is it? She's never said this to me before, so I was kind of thrown off. So she kind of told me what happened, and I literally remember walking on DeMillo's and my whole team's there, and I was like, everyone, I gotta leave. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, my daughter's boyfriend just stole a car and got caught trying to meet up with her, and it was really crazy. So
Just when I thought that
Yeah.
you couldn't have any more evidence of your success as a parent.
Yeah.
The fact that your kid did something
quote unquote bad. Yeah.
bad, okay. Some kids then would run
Yep.
from their parents,
No.
but instead ran to you.
Yeah, she called me up and said, I need to talk to you. I did something bad. And this is what's weird about her is that she's never done anything like bad. She wasn't a kid that cried or argued or got grounded, or neither one of them were. We still kind of wonder how that happened. But
still,
I have to do like
win.
a DNA, like a trace back, because I was a little bit.
I got a
wild there.
swab test here in this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some. Yeah, we're
Check
gonna
and
have to
find
do
out.
some kind of test there.
So going back to ask you about
Yeah.
your first fish.
Yeah,
Went Laurier Air Force Base.
great wet. Yeah, I was 17.
And how much of it do you remember?
Quite a bit of it. Yeah, it's quite a story actually, because it actually developed. Everything after that show literally set my path. Like I was completely reset at that show. It had something to do with, some, I don't know, a bag of mushrooms. Let's just say it. I don't care. I'm pretty honest now these days. Or I've always been honest, but I've always kept out information that I maybe could have hurt maybe the image of a company. But now I'm just me, right? And this is what happened. I started working when I was 10 at a farm, and then I was hired at Grant's Appliance at 14. So that's 3 years before I actually went to the first fish show. So I had been working every summer, and then I was doing service calls. And when I got my license at 16, I was able to do service calls and fix refrigerators. And I was making $25 a service call, which was crazy back then. And I remember I bought a Dodge Daytona 500. No, it wasn't a 500. That's the race. A Dodge Daytona. No, it wasn't the Dodge Daytona with the little flip up lights. It was a nice little red sports car that I thought it was going to be cool. I thought that maybe it'd make me cooler. So I bought a car, and then I asked my parents, I was like, look, can I go up north and see some live music and go camping with my friends? And they're like, tell me more. I was like, no, you're just supposed to say yes. I'm going north. I mean, what can happen up north? Like if I was like, hey, I'm going to Boston, my friends, I thought I would have got some resistance, but no, it was like more questions came because I was 17, and I was like, okay, there's this band coming, there's fish, and you can camp there and you can hang out with your friends and you can watch live music. And they're like, no, that's a drug band. They're like Grateful Dead. No. Well,
Did they have that answer locked and loaded, or did they have to go do some research?
No, I think that they just knew. Like, I mean, I was a hardworking kid with good grades, but I also was like, let's go jump the dirt bike over 2 cars. And, I was a little bit on the wild side with me and my friends. So they were cautiously like, what are you doing?
Did you ask close to the concert date after it had made all the news that Fish was coming to do this big weekend party, or did you ask
I don't.
further
That's
back?
a really good question, but all I know is what happened. It was a
Yes.
no. And I don't know why it was. I mean, with Gracie and Lainey, I probably would just say go have fun because I think this is where I learned to. I think this is why they're good kids. I gave them a ton of room. I gave them a ton of room to make mistakes or to kind of figure it out on their own. With me, just making sure that they're safe, but also just not a helicopter parent, right? And I think it's kind of like the parent that cleans their house so well that their kid's always sick because they go out. You know what I mean? It's like, so I'm like rub dirt in it, like when they get a cut kind of dad, you know,
throw
like,
some dirt on it, walk it off.
Yeah. So that's how I was brought up. So my parents gave me a lot of room. We grew up what we call middle of nowhere. It's Dexter, but it's on, out of town, and it's connected to my 2 or 3 other friends, and it's 2 or 3 miles through the woods and through fields, and we'd ride our bikes. We had a beaten path through the woods. It was just one of those classic, country kid type lifestyles. And I thought for sure my mom was just gonna be like, yeah, go for it. But I'm also like, I'm not real good with rules and boundaries. I think that's why I was a business owner. And I do know that's why I was a business owner. And that's what I found out on this trip, literally. So, so yeah. So they said no. But I remember it was like 20, 25 cars all met up at Dexter Variety, and we all chained it up to the interstate. And because we knew how many people were coming, which was estimated between 70 and 100,000 people on Interstate 95 in Maine, we're like, this is going to be a disaster. Right? There was 65 miles of backed up cars at that point, but we jumped ahead of it. I was like literally 4 blocks from the entrance to the show. But keep in mind, I have no idea. I didn't grow up listening to Grateful Dead. I wasn't into jam bands.
Yeah.
I just was like, wow, what is this frequency? Because they do play at a weird frequency. Fish does a good job of like, do you like me or do you hate me? Like there's not a whole lot in between. It's either you like scallops or you don't, or you like seafood or you don't. And they did this on purpose with a certain frequency that they play with, which I didn't understand at the time. But everybody puts out their own, with their own amplifier and their own PA system, and they can put a vibration out that will either. And they didn't want to be big and famous and rich. They didn't give a about that. They loved playing music together as friends. I know a lot more because now I'm in communication with them.
You're in communication with Fish.
Yeah, that's going to be. I got to sort through some of the stuff that I can talk about and I can't talk about as we fly here. I'm usually pretty good at it on the fly.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just...
Yeah.
That's an interesting
We
nugget.
had talked about that.
A lot has changed.
I was going to say before we started, don't say anything or don't tell us anything that you can't talk about. But just tell us what you can.
I actually talked to a member on my way right before here. And I said, give me some boundaries. He's like,
Okay.
There's NDAs and stuff, so on top of it. But yeah, this could be a 9-hour podcast, just about just that band itself. And also like my name is MS6 if we go to like, I'm the 6th member of the band, which any band has to have. The 5th member, CK5. So he's the lights guy. He's the guy that's been doing the improvisation on lights from the beginning. So I always said that you can't have a band without a listener, right? And I think music is magic. I'm starting to learn the guitar now, which is very difficult, especially with somebody like me that has to be going to, but it actually took my ADHD and it calmed it down. So I think I'm in a good zone here, but
is that the frequency?
I don't know what it is. I think it's just like the absolute love and passion for improv. I think that making up live music in real time, that vulnerable, that's scary, and never repeating a song, the same song twice, and that one that they can't even duplicate. I think that's absolute magic. It's like theater too. Like you go to theater and you've got one shot. There's no cuts and edits and all that stuff. That's like that's real.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
21.51. Matt said twice. So they basically, my parents said no, and I said I'm going anyway. We get up to Lorne Air Force Base, and this is going to kind of go against what I don't. It's not a drug band. It's a lot of and every single concert I've ever been to, there is weed being smoked in the you know what I mean. It's not. I think music is a gateway to, could be anything. It could be a gateway to religion. It could be a gateway to your own self awareness. It could be It could be a gateway to doing cocaine. I don't know. Like a lot of people like experience what they experience, but it's all about like your individual quest of like what you're looking for. And back then, I was just like a wide open mind that was just I was a sponge that was just so hungry for experience, And we were the wild kids that were out there on dirt bikes, like I said, and mountain bikes, and just building tree houses and cabins and forts in the woods, all that stuff. So we were just free kids really out in the country. And I didn't see anything different with this until I actually got there. And I was like, wow, wow. Like I was like not prepared. I'm 17 years old. I got a car. I've got a backpack with a couple t-shirts, maybe a change of underwear and, some Birkenstocks. And I remember I was maybe some sneakers and I just couldn't believe it. But back then fish didn't have their stuff together. See, Rick, I just saved you some time there. Even at that time, they were in their young 20s. So 24, 25, 26, 27, right in there. Like, I think Trey was 26. So this is their, third festival? Second.
Great Went?
Clifford went Clifford Ball. Then I think the Great Went. Yeah. So this was their second. Yeah.
This is 96, 97?
This is 97. So their first one was 96, which is the 30th anniversary of the Clifford Balls this year, which we can get to. I'm covering it. I'm duplicating it. Yeah, with 30,000 people. So I get there and there's no vending. I'm not prepared. I don't have a grill with me. I have a sleeping bag, a tent, and a duffel bag.
Your parents said no. Did they know that you went, or was this?
Well, no.
They didn't.
No, I said I was going to Meg's house or Jeff's house or something like that. I lied to them. Straight up lied, like to their face. Yeah.
Wow.
I own that.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't worry
shucks.
about it. No, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Shucks.
When this episode comes out, it's just going to be one big long tone.
Yep.
You let me know what the frequency should be, and I'll set it.
You know how I got busted?
How?
Because I literally was close enough to the gates. So when the gates opened up, everyone runs to get to the rail because everyone wants to be up front.
Yeah.
We call them rail lizards now. Yeah. I could care less to be that close. I want to be actually back where the sound check is for the perfect sound. And I want to see CK5 rock the lights improvly. Now, is that a word? We'll check that
It is now. We're going with it.
So I would be because I like to watch the 6 members of the band because they groove. Everyone groove. Like this is what's great about a fish show. Everyone is quiet most of the time unless you're a rookie. But if you're like most of us now have good jobs, we're in our 40s or 50s, we can afford to go wherever they go. And we are so respectful and we're there. I mean, tickets now are big bucks for fish. I mean, so this is part of the quest is that fish sells their tickets very cheap. Then people buy them and sell them for like thousands.
Yeah.
And I'm the that buys them for that because I am too busy to try to get in the lottery and I'm too busy to try to get in that 30-second window of sold out. You know what I mean? So I'm always buying StubHub, third party, making the problem worse actually. Most of my tickets are $500, $600, $700, $800 a night, and I'll buy 4 or 5 of them in a row.
Right.
Because I don't want to miss one.
Yeah.
So every time I go to a long fish show, we're talking $5,000 at least. So that's the kind of crowd that you have there. So we're there to hear the music and see the art. And so there's no talking. And if there is, it's like next to your buddy in the ear so you can't hear. It's not like if this offends anybody, but you go to the Bangor Waterfront, there's a country concert. It's just a lot of alcohol, a lot of loud people, a lot of people talking. It's just, I can't handle it. I need to be part of it.
Need to focus in.
I need to focus in on it. And that's really what a hardcore fish fan is, which they've developed. That's a bunch of us together when we're waiting for these moments that you just never are ready for, that they're not even ready for, which they've explained to me. They're part of it too. They're witnessing what they're doing in real time.
How do they keep making it happen?
That is, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Because that's a big one. That's a long answer. But this particular concert, I ran up to get in the front, and then on the Bangor Daily, here I am. Woo! Both arms out, with a white Hanes t-shirt on.
Oh my gosh.
I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I had it circled when I got home.
Oh
yeah.
No. Wow.
Yeah, then my sister told on me that I ate mushrooms but that.
How did your sister know you ate mushrooms?
That's Dexter High School. I graduated 90 people, so it leaked out pretty quick.
How'd that conversation
And not only
go?
that, but I grew a beard and, overnight and completely changed. No, just kidding. But it did change me forever. I mean, it really did. I mean, like they talk about that kind of substance being used for like vets and stuff that are completely traumatized and they can change overnight. It's true. And I don't think it's in a bad way. I think it creates such a pivotal thing. It really opens your eyes up to what's beyond your ego or you or even where we are in space. you know, it really expands your brain, especially when you're 17. Like my brain was just like, what is this? And it just showed me, I remember the song, it was Run Like an Antelope came on, and it just starts off like run, 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 you know, and it just goes like that. And then it's like, run like an antelope out of control. And I was like, wow. And I separated myself from my pack, and I went up and I just sat against the fence, and I was just like in awe of, I was having this experience. I mean, I ate the whole thing. You're not supposed to do that. I didn't know that. You know, I'm a kid from Dexter, and I was just like sitting on the sidelines with these lights and these lyrics and these people, and I was just like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And that run, run, run was like run from society, run from the man, do not work for somebody else, like be free, don't be indoctrinated by a school. Like that's all the things that were rushing in from me from, I guess, my higher self, what I call it now.
Did you carry that moment when you went back home and you found your photo circled on the front of the BDN?
I didn't care because I knew what I was going to do. I was going to buy that company I was working for. I was going to change it to Scott's Appliance, and I was going to be a free man. You know, I didn't want a boss. I didn't want, it just highlighted indoctrination. Like I looked at the most beautiful people I've ever seen. You've got doctors, you got lawyers, you got brain surgeons. I know this because on my way to Fish Mexico this last year, I'm sitting next to a heart surgeon and a brain surgeon, and I'm in the middle and they're married. And I'm like, are you guys fighting or something? Like, why am I there? I found out that they're married, and they're like, no, we're just like, we're having a hard time flying to Fish because it's the only place that we can actually let go of how many people are going to die when we're not at work.
What?
They're a heart surgeon and a brain surgeon. They're married. And they're like, think about it. There's always somebody, and they live in Boston. So they're at one of the best hospitals you could possibly get any kind of like say I slipped out here because Rick didn't salt, you know, the steps, which I noticed.
He's not very good at
not
it.
very good at
There's
it.
no that walkway's fine.
Yeah, well, we'll have to take a
Rick's
second
job,
look,
too.
but let's just
My
say,
house
for
is
instance,
different,
I
okay?
slip, I fall, I crack my head, and I need brain surgery, which probably is the case anyway, but they would get me directly to this doctor, and they'd be like, okay, you need to save his life. Well, sorry, he's at a fish show. You know, they don't tell him that. But they get these surgeons that are saving lives, they don't have breaks. You know, I just talked to my accountant. He's like, I will be sleeping, eating, and doing taxes until after the 15th.
Right.
Well, when you're a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon, it's like you could be at home sleeping while you're supposed to be doing something else. And then it's like, hey, we've got this 5-year-old that's coming in with, you know, they're going to do it, right? So they really put it, this just happened this year going to Mexico. They really, really took what I was this escape from reality in order to reset, in order to go back to my professional job. That's what it was. It was recess. I called it recess, or I called it Never Never Land.
Did you share this with them?
We became best friends. I mean, I have them in my phone now. This is what's else is cool. If you type fish in my phone, there'll be 200 people that pop up, and it'll be like Christy Bubbles, MSG floor, you know, or there's always like a little hint to whoever they are. But now I developed an app in the last week that it's it's going to connect everybody. Yeah, that's a whole other vein. We could
smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool, and it's going to take out Ticketmaster. We're after you. Selling a ticket for more than what it's worth is absolutely insane. It's not. It shouldn't happen. We're going to take over Ticketmaster, and I hope they're listening. And StubHub, it's not going to happen anymore. If you buy a ticket, no matter what, and you try to upsell it, and you have bots working for you, it's going to be in the fine print. If you do that and you sell that ticket to somebody else digitally, it's going to go into a pool called Miracle Pool, and we're going to send teachers that can't afford it. We're going to send law enforcement. We're going to my mom of 4 that can't afford to go on these trips with air flight tickets. All of it's going to be miracled to them from people that are trying to steal.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a big problem.
Yes.
We know it's a big problem.
Huge.
Taylor Swift is, I guess, the pinnacle of the big problem.
It happened to me. $8,000 tickets. Yeah.
Everybody. I tried to get tickets for my youngest daughter. She's a fan of a new artist named Freya Sky. You probably haven't heard of her. Most people haven't. She was in Zombies 4 on the Disney Channel. Has a single out that is a catchy tune. She has her first EP out. I tried to get tickets for her on the pre-sale and then the on sale.
A lot of work.
I was in the queue an hour before they went on sale, completely sold out within seconds.
Sure.
And it was all bots.
It's all bots.
And so I was faced with, do I not take my daughter to this show, which ended up happening, or do I pay $700 a ticket for an artist that has one song on some radio stations?
It's
and
nuts.
it's just crazy. It's
nuts.
crazy.
Sphere right now, Fish.
Yeah.
Those tickets, I went in the lottery. This is nuts. I went in for all of them, which would have been $5,800 for all of them. So they're playing all 3 weekends, 3 shows, so a total of 9 shows. But I think they're going to 9 shows, and it would have been $5,800. Now it's $7,000 a night. So it's a problem, and this is kind of galactic. and I have a tribe called the Galuactic tribe that we got together, and I ended up being miracled into. I could just keep going. This is like the craziest that happened to me. Fish Mexico. I'm going to go back to the surgeons.
Surgeons, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're telling me this, like, it's the only place that I can disconnect myself from my reality that I live in. And if you're a professional, you both are, you know how, and you're a parent, that shit's heavy and thick. You know, it's not easy to escape that. You can't, right?
Yeah.
You're a full-time parent or whatever. You know, you can't stop that.
Right.
You can't stop that if Rick Tyler wants to disappear, everyone knows Rick Tyler, or, you know, he's noticed, you know who he is, you know his voice. So at a fish show, no one gives a crap.
Yeah.
You know, no one cares. Like, everyone looks the same. They all blend in. We don't ask, what do you do? We don't ask any of that. Everyone gets along.
Yeah.
Everyone hugs everybody. Everyone says, I love you. And everyone just gets along. You can pull up next to anybody at a fish show and just start talking.
I'm scared to ask you this to take you off from everything
Yeah.
you're saying, but I want to go back to the Great Wet,
Yeah.
and I want to go back to the kid
Sure.
in the Hanes t-shirt
Sure.
before he went home, and he's
Yeah.
back. He didn't know he was supposed to eat the whole
Yeah.
thing, but he did, and they're
Yeah.
playing run,
Yeah.
and you're on the fence. Who came up and hugged you? Who came up and embraced you?
I was just blown away by everybody because everyone was feeding me. I didn't bring food. So all these elder, you know, the 20s, 30s that were coming from the Grateful Dead that had already been primed on this kind of culture or this kind of response or basically a community, right? I was taken care of. Like, it was unbelievable. People are feeding me. I didn't have to worry about anything. It was just like being with the people that you think you've known your whole life, but they're all friendly. There's no foes. It's magic. It really is, and it's never changed. It's gotten nothing but better. Every single show, it's like everyone's so kind to each other. I mean, that's how I know Race too. I mean, Race, he was so hooked on it, he created Jump Radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, because he wanted to keep the community connected when we didn't have each other. Well, Race, I'm so sorry, but I wound up to you with an app. So sorry. I love you. I love you so much that I had to. Yeah, I love Race. His commitment to the band should speak for itself. We're talking, like, I couldn't even tell you how much money he's invested personally into just the equipment for that radio station.
And Race is a mutual friend, I think, of all of ours.
all of
For
us,
people who don't know, Jump Radio is a website that, it's
It's an
100%
app.
focused. An app,
JEMP
100%
for those
focused on fish.
JEMP.
which is
JEMP.
John, Ernest, Mike, and Paige, their initials. Ernest is Trey.
Didn't you go to the Fish concert?
I did,
If
yeah.
it's in Bangor, it doesn't count.
No, it was in Limestone.
Okay, good.
no.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Oh, we've talked about this.
Yeah. I had...
You don't have to talk all about it, but in case there's anything you wanted to I just wanted to point out that you were there.
It was a great experience. It really was. It was my first exposure to, I guess, the greater community of Fish and also the greater library of Fish music. I had heard some of their music, probably a couple of albums, maybe a live track, but not a lot.
Funny you say that, yeah.
And I went at the suggestion and maybe urging of another mutual friend, Mike Dow.
Dow.
We had a great time. The challenge of getting into the venue was a little bit taxing, but beyond that, it was a good time.
What was the concert after the Went?
It went Great Went, Lemon Wheel, and then It. And I worked It. I did backstage security at It.
Lemon Wheel was about what year?
Lemon Wheel would have been, so 97, that would have been 98, and then 99. They went 3 years in a row.
Okay. What was the year where the Groucho Marx glasses were up on the water tower?
That would have been It.
The only connection I have to going to one of these shows is when I was working for News Center, I was the guy, because I'm from Aroostook County.
Sure.
I was dispatched to go and do stories about preparing for it.
Yep.
And we got there and we knew Brian Hamill running the Loring Authority. So he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And so we got out the television cameras and set up and started filming. Had to have been 5, 6, 7 black SUVs all roll up on us at once. And guys 3 times the size of all of us put together come out. And they tell us that we can't film that, and please don't film that. And you really need to go away right now. And I walked away with a level of respect for this is a major production.
Yep.
They do not want this out early because they don't want to spoil it for the fans that are coming.
Right. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's about creating that never land type experience for people that just need to escape reality. So the band and the music is the drug. The band is sober. They've been sober for almost 30 years. Like it's a sober, completely sober backstage. I got to go back there this last year. I was invited back there and I got to see the whole production. I get to just see how it all works. And it's 100% sober community behind that stage. If it's not, you're fired. It's not incorporated into their structure at all.
Wow.
But they're also very understanding that their listeners are there for whatever reason. I mean, it's saved me so many times, like through a divorce, you know, just the heaviest things in life. He goes to go to a fish show and it goes away for a little bit, you know, like it completely separates you from really what's going on. And it's funny because my buddy Andy Greenberg, that we wrote the response of why we go to fish shows over and over again. I asked him, and I'll share it with you guys soon. It was the most beautiful response I've ever heard. You can't put it in words of like why we keep coming back. I can't. I don't have the IQ to be able to explain it, but I found someone that could. But yeah, it's magic. It basically is. And as you probably can remember, you know, it caught me off guard. You know,
Yeah.
So a lot of like there's so much music out there, right? Mm-hmm. But even the Beatles, let's compare it to the almighty Beatles, which by the way, I just found out the other day by talking to one of the band members that the Beatles only had an 8-year run.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Like that's
And you
insane.
see the transformation?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were talking about that, and it's like even the Beatles, right? It's still canned. You've got a song that's 5 minutes and 42 seconds, right? And it's every concert. It's, you know what I mean? Like Rocky Raccoon. It's never going to expand beyond the 6 minutes and 17 seconds that it is, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's really good, and they're really good at it, and they're the best at what they did. But that's what you get. Mm-hmm. You get a 6-minute song. Well, when you go to Fish, it's like, okay, they've played, Slave to the Traffic, Slave, like to the Traffic Light. They've played it like 1,800 times, but never repeated once. Mm. And I asked one of them, I was like, could you even repeat one of them? And they're like, no, of course not. Like, no way. How could you? So their structure, Rick's like, how? Like,
Well,
why?
no. I'm trying to think. If there was a song by Fish that I think that they would be able to repeat, or fans would maybe even ask them to repeat, it would be Bouncing Around the Room.
So Bouncing Around the Room is probably the most canned song.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's the only one that really made it mainstream. Yeah. And I asked this question the other day to one of them. Tell me the difference between Fish albums. And they basically laughed. They're like, Fish is not an album. Like, we do it because there are people that want that. Mm-hmm. You know, there are listeners that do want an album, but we really don't take it seriously. They're like, we listen to the person that's producing it and we follow their leads and all that. But so Bouncing Around the Room is the most commercialized. And honestly, that was the first song I ever heard.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same.
It went on radio and they didn't like it. They don't want to be on the radio. They do not want that kind of net out there.
I get that now. Back then, I don't know that I would have ever been exposed to their music to the point where I would have said, sure, I'll go to this concert without the albums or the radio station.
Yeah. So you know what? I think that maybe it was to prime the pump, but they also didn't have a clue what they were doing. They were just a bunch of friends that wanted to play music.
But there's a lot of bunch of friends that just want to play music that are still playing in garages. I know this is different, but I think
this is very different. And I think it's because I have contact with them now and I can communicate with them. So I've learned so much about what I thought versus what is.
Yeah.
And the truth of it is they don't take themselves seriously. They just want to play music. They want to bro out. Mm-hmm. And then they want a reason to get up every day and think of a new song that might... So they can put a show on, so they can like just save somebody from their reality for a little bit, you know. And they see what the community does to itself. So there's the band, right, and then you got the community. Well, you can't have one without the other, but one of them is more powerful, and it's the community. It's the thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that love that vibration and that community. But it's 5 dudes, right? It's 4 and then you got Chris Karuda on lights, all improv. But if you think about it, it's like a couple 100,000 to 5. It's pretty wild if you think about it upside down. So, and they know that. And I love communicating and having the ability to be able to understand both sides of it. I think that's really been another huge chapter in my life where it really came back in full loop and really like saved my life in a sense, because I was a workaholic. I wanted to be the best dad. I wanted to be the best business owner and take over the heat pump world. right? Which
Didn't you kind
which
of
happened, yeah.
do-
We sold, we installed more heat pumps than anyone in the nation, and I mean that's cool, and you know, like here's your trophy, but it wasn't as satisfying as what I can imagine bringing art to where the world is, right? And one of the biggest things that I learned from communicating with the band, with their people, with outside, you know, and all the levels in between, the people that actually like try to reproduce their music, and there's countless cover bands, but there's one common thread. It's us. It's the community that keeps coming back together and saving our lives and getting us out of that rut. And I remember a lot of times I'd come back from Phish shows and my own team would be like, oh, Matt's going to be like really happy and really good to work for the next month. So the afterglow.
So let us ask, and you shared this with me once as we were having a discussion between 3 panes of glass and 2 microphones, that there's almost a lesson in the happy, successful running of your business that you got from, and I wrote down the word again, the vibration, the frequency that Phish transmitted to you.
It changed everything from that day forward, changed everything. Like how seriously they took their job, but not seriously. You know what I mean? They were following their burning desire without it being taken as too serious. Because if you know, it's hard to kind of, my buddy Andy answers it. It's hard for me because, but at Days World, for instance, I was the gas pedal, I was the face, I was the voice, but the brains behind the operation really was Dan and Bob, right? They were the steering wheel, and they were the brakes, and they were the bumpers, and they were the, you know, I could argue with them that, you know, we could have done more if I would have been able to not have 2 votes of no. But also those 2 votes of yes, it's the same difference. And also I could have probably completely destroyed that company by myself because of my energy and my like, let's get this done now.
Yeah.
LFG. I won't. Let's bleep and go is how is my. So I think they kept me out of a lot of danger, but I also can look at the other side of the coin and say we could have done more. I think Phish is the same way. To answer, like Rick brought this up last time I was with you. Like, what is the common thread between like Days World and Matt and Phish? And it's called the burning desire. It's like I have so much love for each one of them. It's a burning desire. It's like, I can't wait to go see these people that are being given a break from how crazy this world is. You know, like being a dad. Like when I went to Phish, it was like my kids are 100% buttoned down with their grandparents. Like I don't need to answer my phone. They're with the best care. Okay. Dave's world is being ran by Dan and Bob. Matt can go just disappear.
When you talk to the people at Phish, in Phish, do you express this to them, or do they sort of just know it?
They don't know it. I mean, they do know it, of course, right?
Yeah.
But they all know it at different levels at different times. And of course, each experience with that information coming from the other side of the stage is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
So when I speak to them, it's different because I think I have a good way to transfer a feeling to words, because that's what I did for work, right? Like I was passionate about the heat pump. I was able to explain that I'm not selling you something, I'm guiding you to something that is better for you. And I think those two relate. And I'm also so used to, at the point, 21 years at Days World, that I'm able to like just get on here and just talk. Like where, 15 years ago, you'd have to get me drunk to even like 3 beers. I was so afraid of the camera. I was so afraid of a microphone. I was so afraid of what people would think about what I said. And now I don't give a this is me. This is my life. I love it. This is my experience. Take it or leave it. But I would take it because it's been thoroughly processed and filtered and tried and true. And, I've failed a million times. It's the same old story with anybody. You got to fail 1,000 times or 10,000 times before you get a win, right?
What's the failure that almost took you off track?
The divorce, the breakup of my family. Yeah.
And what got you back on track?
Phish and Days World. Those two things, they're my grounding rod. Like I don't know how else to say it. I'd go to work and I'd work really hard. So it was a distraction that, my family had broken up. But then when then there has to be a recess, right? Every adult needs a recess. I don't care who you are. I don't care how seriously you take life and how religious you are and how strict you are and how prim and proper you're supposed to be. And
Can you look at Dan when you say that and not me?
Well, it's not applicable for me. It's you.
yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, think about it, guys. All of our society, and you guys are in Bangor. You have to act and sound a certain way, and then for the public, and we're public people, and yada yada
Wait,
yada.
who has to do that?
I mean, I don't know, somebody with a late night show that for many years running at Husson College. You can't go down the street and be something you might be if no one was looking, right?
No, I'm absolutely who I am all the time.
All the time.
No,
all the time.
Matt, I'm going to take your back.
Congratulations.
I'm going to take your back on this. You
Okay,
ready?
congratulations.
Dan Cashme, tell me you could go to the grocery store and you could be walking down the cereal aisle and you could pick your nose.
I don't normally pick my nose in public.
Right,
because you wouldn't.
But you would in
But that's
private.
who I am.
But you would in private.
It depends. I mean, not
mean,
as-
every
like
nose,
that?
not every
I see
nose
you've been
needs a
doing
pick.
some
not
picking,
for
right?
fun, but if I got something that needs to come out, I'll get it out.
If there's a bat in the case.
I asked. It's so funny you say this. I
But
ask people,
I'll
you
do the
pick your
subtle
nose?
thumb pick though. I'll
Right,
do the
right.
subtle thumb
Okay,
pick. but
it's a pick, not a scratch.
that's like saying, Dan, are you going to go to Hannaford take a dump in the checkout aisle? No,
Right.
I'm not. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
well,
to do
no,
it.
that's way
who I
different.
am.
way different.
I asked
No,
the
it's
same
not.
question.
different because if you did, it would be the express self checkout.
This is good stuff because
I
I,
have
ask
taken a
people,
dump in
I'm
the
like, do you
checkout
pick
aisle
your
already.
nose? And they say no. And I'm like, you're a nose picker and a liar.
Yeah.
Because it would
Don't
be
look,
impossible.
look, you just-
I
he
scratched my nose. Did you hear it?
What he
Totally
just did?
picked his nose.
I don't need to. Let me check.
Patty,
There's
did you
nothing
just-
in there
Patty,
right now.
Did you just see him? See, yes.
Yes, Patty.
The judge in the corner
No,
saw it.
We have a judge.
So there's a difference between something like that and just being who you are. And I mean, I am who I am.
Matt is absolutely right because you can't be really, really,
You
really
can't even
who
say
you
it right
are,
now.
and I can't do it
Say
either
what?
in public.
You can't say that you are different than what everyone knows you as.
I'm not. Rick, you've known me how long?
A long time.
Am I different in this office than I am when you see me in public or when you saw me on television
ask
or
you.
when you came over for dinner and had, I'm going to say it now, chicken. By the way, the only time they've accepted my invite, so I know the chicken was really bad.
53-17.
So long ago.
Even though-
17.22.
Am I
even though,
different though?
honestly.
Am I different?
I bet you $1 million that you would be different with me at a fish show in Mexico than you would be on the late night show or around any person that has ever listened to you or looked you in the eyes in this community.
I mean, if it is, it's not intentional. I feel like I don't.
You're going to the Sphere with me.
Really? You buying? Because I'm in.
Sure. I think so.
Okay,
I think we do need to go. I think that just happened. Yeah.
You are a different person when you're walking in the halls of Augusta than you are right now.
You've never seen me in the halls of Augusta.
Yes, I have.
When?
Years ago.
No, you haven't.
Well, let's aim the light at you.
I'll admit it. You
You
are
know?
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I am a different person
Hell yeah.
at home than I am in person,
Yeah.
than I am with you.
Yeah.
The conversations that you and I have had
Sure.
between three panes of glass.
Yeah.
And the times that you and I have been together and have a chance to talk.
Yeah. Sure.
I am a different person.
Imagine stripping that all
but
down.
But you're absolutely right.
Imagine stripping that all away. And you didn't have to think about where you were, who was around you, what was going to be produced from. So this is my favorite quote that I came up with at Days World in order to get my 150, 60 people to understand what I had to averagely say.
Is this the awesome line?
Right?
Is this
No.
the awesome thing?
No,
Okay, I didn't think so.
that was an accident.
All right.
I always started serious conversations was there's an unmeasurable space between intention and perception.
Say it again. Say it again, but say it slowly.
There's an unmeasurable space between intention and perception. It's our job as leaders to close that gap. If you're leading a group, if you're leading a community, if you're leading a radio show, right? Like, is it Rick's intention to, when he is delivering the news, to side with one of it? You don't, right? You're
Try not to.
All you do,
Try
right?
not
You
to.
try
Got
not
us
to,
and-
right?
and spend a lot of
But
time.
there's an unmeasurable space.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at Fish, there is no space because it's not being measured. See what I'm saying? Like, it's not an unmeasurable space because no one's measuring.
So you were going to tell us where the phrase awesome came from.
Oh, that was easy. I went to go just do my first radio ad and they were like, it was for Blueberry.
Yeah.
It was in Augusta. The person at the front desk. She was like, "Can I see your script?" And I was like, "Script? Like, I just free flow this." I'm sorry.
Don't worry
See,
about
I
it.
told
It's
you.
okay.
It just comes out.
Right.
All right. So we're at, let's see.
1 minute.
Yeah, 1
1
minute.
hour.
Yeah,
We
1
should have had a
hour.
quarter
Whatever
jar
that
or
was.
something
Yeah,
here.
quarter jar. Yeah, do you remember that Bud Light commercial with the quarters?
Yes.
Oh, that's the best one ever. So she goes, "You don't have a script?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Okay." So she walks down this hall and goes around the corner, and I think I'm following her. So I'm like right on her heels, and she doesn't know it. she gets up to like Rick's booth, I've walked to 100 times and at least. And she opens the door and she's like, Matt Scott from Days World's here. And he doesn't have a script, like very sarcastically.
Yeah.
And she turns around and she almost runs into me and she's like, oh, just like, well, oops. And I was like, it's okay. I was like, I'm a newbie. I mean, I'm 27 years old here, 27 years old. And they're like, come on in. And they're like, well, a commercial has to have a beginning, middle, and end. And I was like, okay, and it has to be 29 seconds. And I'm like, okay. So I was just like, Matt from Days World, Dover Foxcroft, introducing these Fujitsu heat pumps. They heat, they cool, they blah, 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 blah. And I was like, daysworld.com, Days World. Awesome. Because it didn't balance out the because like Matt from Days World, Dover Foxcroft, and the I guess the bookend of the book, I think that's what they call it, bookending. Right? Yeah. The bookend was like daysworld.com, Days World. I mean, there was something missing, so I was just like, awesome. And I think it was Mr. Mike was like, yes, like yeah. And then of course I had to go down the road of like people like talking smack, like, oh, Matt thinks he's awesome. And I'm like, no, I think my team's awesome. I think the product's awesome. And like, I went through a whole, like, which I'm sure you guys have too. There's moments of like, man, people know me and they know my voice. And like, and then you get acknowledged for it and you're like, ugh, like, I just want to pick my nose in the shop and save,
Take a dump.
Yeah.
Take a jump at the checkout line.
It was really weird too, because the first commercials I did between TV and Paul helped me with my first commercial. That's when it took off. Is like, if you're on TV, trust you.
Wow.
Like, you've got it made. Like, that's the company to go with.
You making that turn going, not that Dave, different Dave.
Yeah.
That was
all improv. That's the other thing too, is that I learned from Fish. Everything is improv with me. I can't, if I write it down, I don't think it's honest.
Yeah.
If I write it down and I work on it, it's not honest. If I just shoot it out the cannon, it's honest. Whether it comes out wrong or not, it's honest.
Yeah.
So I never was afraid of that. And that did come from the band. And I had Dan and Bob to be the serious ones, of Days World, really, right? They were the suit and the tie, and I was the clown with the best ideas. Sorry, guys. They never would have done heat pumps. They've told me this. Too risky. It's like, but they've got a clown that learned at Fish that you can be free. But that's another Fish song for you non-Fish listeners. And also anyone that's listening to this, like, don't become a fan. Tickets are already too hard to get, and we don't need more of you.
Get out.
My word. Oh,
Get out of our group.
My word.
This is risky business over here telling you guys how awesome this band is.
Yeah.
So one thing, I know you're looking at your watch, but I have to finish. This is my favorite part of Fish of all time. And I usually don't like trophies, and I don't like acknowledgement for things that I've done in my profession, but this is probably my favorite service call of all time. I'm at Fish Mexico, day 2. My bags don't show up. Okay, at all. So I'm wearing long johns. It's minus 15 out when I left Bangor, Maine. And I get there with long johns on, these jeans, this sweatshirt, same thing, in a coat, to Cancun. No bag shows up the entire time I'm there. So I'm like, it's hot and there's a show tonight. So I'm like, I'm going to go in the robe. In the hotel robe.
I'm sorry, we wear loud headphones, and sometimes our hearing goes, it really sounded like you said that you were going to go to the show wearing the robe out of your hotel room.
The robe and the slippers. Because I have keen thick boots on, right? And I've got jeans, and I've got a hot concert to go to, and it's that night. So I'm like, I'm just going to throw the robe on. Like, at Fish, no one cares. In fact, I thought it was going to be funny, and it was. But I get to security, and they're like, you can't go through here with a robe. You can't enter anything from the hotel into the grounds. And I was like, hold my beer. So I made a phone call. Head of security comes out from Fish and is like, he can come in. And then he was like, that, you know what, better not come out of the robe. Have fun. So I get to rock the robe. This picture's all over. It was awesome because it was very free. And now I know how Fishman feels in the dress. Like, that's why he wears a dress, right? It was a gag at first, but then he can breathe and he can move, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a dress. Sorry. So sorry, John. But so I went to the Fish night 1, night 2. Here I am in my jeans and everything. I don't even want to leave my room. I'd stayed up all night, probably too long, meeting people, too late. And I remember the sun coming up and be like, oh man. And then I got a text message from Trey. It's like, hi, this is Trey from Fish. this is what Fish does for their listeners. They have a tractor trailer, 55-foot trailer that goes to every single show. And they've got cameramen all over the place. And then they broadcast it in 4K back to anyone that wants to watch the show at home. It's like watching a baseball game. It's like you get better views from what, it's like I can get the Fish show with that app going on, people used to do that. Stephen King used to do that at the basketball games. He'd have like the radio going on, listening to the game, and watching them. And I had a message from Fish and said, hey, Jack, which is John's son, said that you were an HVAC because he was in HVAC school. Now you guys can start making the connections here. So HVAC, I'm brought up in most HVAC classes in Bangor, and this particular student was there, which happens to also be my neighbor. So this is where things start to connect. So he reports back to the team that, hey, so live Fish trailer, the cooling goes down and it's 92 degrees inside and there's 4 adults, servers, servers are putting off a couple hundred BTUs per hour each. They're stacked all the way down the whole thing. And there's screens everywhere and there's employees and there's cameras, feeds coming in. It's hot, 92 degrees. And they're like, live Fish is going to go down. We need a cooling guy. And I got a text message from Trey and it said, hey, we're down. Can you come check it out? I found a leak. I called the front desk and got a runner to go find refrigerant in Tulum, bring back the refrigerant. I charged the system, got the whole trailer up and going. And I was like, that's the coolest job I've ever done. And they're like, what do we owe you? And it was $700 for the refrigerant. I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Like, you've already paid me. Like, you got soul currency stacked to the wall with me. Like, you don't owe me anything. And then my girlfriend at the time was like, you're not going to even give him a bill? Like, that would have been like $5,000 at home or whatever. And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that at this. No, absolutely not. And I said, soul currency. Literally that night, I'm on the beach with the peasants, the people with $8,000 tickets, just on the beach watching Fish. And I got a text message and it said, go to room 4001. And if you're looking at the stage at Fish in Mexico, you got the stage, you got the ocean, and then you've got 2 huge suites that are the borders. In 4001, it was one of those suites. So I went into the suites and it was like butler service, bar service.
Wow.
And some of the coolest Fish fans that I've ever met. In fact, they said that for 13 years, they've been fishing for the finest, all PHs, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Fish fans on the planet, and they've been collecting them. There's like 20 of us now that I was introduced to these people that have been going to fish shows. One of my friends now has been to 600 shows. He's got a cover band, Runaway Gin, named Andy Greenberg. He's one of my best friends now. I go down to South Carolina with him. We did a podcast. We have a podcast going about Fish, except we don't call them podcasts. I came up with a new idea. It's called an album with a track. So it's like, why do we come back? Track 1 is my question, why do we come back? Track 2 is referring back to a question that came back from, like, you're asking me questions. That would be track 2 on something serious. And then, so it's going to be, each album is going to be, instead of a podcast long form, we're going to do 10-minute short forms on a 10-track album.
What's the name of the podcast again?
Why We Come Back.
Thanks for listening to The Rick and Dan Show.
Next show, we're giving out free SNH green stamps. Ooh. If you like what you heard, don't suppose you'd click that subscribe button.
And maybe leave us a review on your favorite listening platform.
5 stars are our favorite.
And next time you hear someone say,
You can't get there from here,
you tell them to listen to The Rick and Dan Show.